And so we have a lot of activities coming up, and I will share with you in a moment, but we'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. An hour passes quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around, and adventure is always waiting. The storytelling means for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go.
Let's go. Good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers, once again via Vaughan Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channel. And of course, you are tuned in to Youth on the Go here on Vaughan Radio. Every Saturday we have so much to share with you, and this Saturday I think is a bit different in the sense that the countdown is really on to our back to school, and so we'll talk a bit about that and what parents and teachers and students can expect over the next few weeks. We will also be sharing some of the opportunities with you. We know that the Chevening Scholarship is currently open. We've shared that with you, and of course I'll also take the time out to recognize and congratulate our most recent Chevening scholar from St. Kitts and Nevis, and more specifically Nevis, and I'll take a few moments out to bigger up once I've shared the Chevening scholarship information with all of you. So we have a few scholarships, as I said. We have the Embassy of Switzerland Excellence Scholarships, and listeners, young people, remember what I said last week and what I keep saying. Every opportunity that comes along, please give it a fair chance and ensure that you don't have those huge loans that you have to tangle with for many years after. So give it due consideration. And so the Nevis Island Administration, Ministry of Human Resources, wishes to inform you that the Embassy of Switzerland in Santo Domingo has sent their postgraduate scholarship call and seeks to award 10 scholars and researchers from St. Kitts and Nevis. The three types of scholarships being offered for 2023-2024 in Switzerland at a Swiss university in the following areas. So those who want to go to Switzerland in 2023-2024, listen up. Research, PhD, and postdoctoral, and they cover all areas except the arts. Interested applicants should complete all the forms and return them to the Ministry of Human Resources by Monday 26th September. I think that should be Monday 26th September, so we have about a month for onward processing. For additional information, visit www.sbfi.admin.ch/scholarships.eng to review the guidelines or contact the following individuals. And I don't think I'm going to have to repeat this many times this morning, because we know who the wonderful ladies at Human Resources are, who will give you all of the information that you need. Mrs. Shelley Jones-Liburd, Mrs. Shanola Murray-Gill, and Miss Chanel Skeet. And reach out to them and they'll be able to assist you and give you further guidance. So those are the persons who already have your master's degree and you care to pursue further studies in Switzerland. I think that's an excellent opportunity. So reach out and follow through and follow up on that. We also have the Organization of American States in collaboration with the Construction, Innovation and Sustainable Engineering Consortium at the Politecnico de Milan is offering scholarships for the OAS member states. That includes us. You have the following. They have them both on-site and online. So those who are interested in online learning because you can't move for whatever reason, there's a level 1 Policymaker Sustainable Urban Transformation Management Tools for Quality Life. There's a level 2 Policymaker Value Manager for the Valorization of Urban Settlements and Sustainability. And the recipients who choose the online platform will be responsible for paying the remaining tuition fees and additional costs. Those desirous of being on-site have to pay the remaining tuition fees, living expenses, health insurance, visa, immigration fees, travel, and costs. So once you've been awarded the scholarship amount, then you will pay the additional fees as directed. So it's a certain percentage that will be covered, and then the remaining fees as directed. So that's something for you to take into consideration. We also have the same OAS in collaboration with the Universidad Ana Mendes is offering partial scholarships for OAS member states. The courses will be offered on-site in the United States in English and Spanish. The scholarship is a one-time tuition allowance of $4,000 and all expenses will be borne by all other expenses will be borne by the scholarship recipient. If you're interested in applying, as I said, reach out to the lovely ladies there at Human Resources. That's a $4,000 scholarship at the Universidad Ana Mendes. So those are some of the opportunities available. And then, of course, I said to you, the final one I'll touch on this morning is the United Kingdom's Chevening Scholarship 2023-2024. The Ministry of Human Resources wishes to inform you of the United Kingdom's Chevening Scholarship Scheme. The Chevening Scholarship Scheme provides individuals with the opportunity to pursue a one-year fully funded master's program at a UK university during the 2023-2024 academic year and comes with the following benefits. You have fully funded tuition fees to your chosen university, living expenses for the duration of your studies, return flight to the UK, access to exclusive events across the UK, and joining the International Chevening Network. Applications must be submitted by November 1st. You have some time, but you have to take your time, listeners, those who are interested in accessing this opportunity. It's not something that you can rush off the day before or the week before. You really have to take some time. There are thousands and thousands of people who apply every year, and you have to make sure that your application stands out. And if you need more information, please feel free to reach out to Mrs. Jones-Liber, Mrs. Murray-Gill, or Miss Skeet. And you can also go on to www.chevening.org. So we know that, as I said, this is an impressive scholarship. We've had some of our leaders in the community have received this scholarship. I know persons like Carolyn Merchant and her dad, Augustine Merchant. He was also a Chevening scholar. We have Diora Pemberton, the Ministry of Communications. We've had persons, I'm trying to remember, Honorable Hazel Brandy Williams. There are several persons who were recipients of this scholarship. Last year, we were proud to have from Nevis, Miss Michelle Slack, and this year it is such a joy for me, no pun intended, such a joy to announce that our winner is Joy Napier. The recipient for this year is Joy Napier. She, of course, is one of my colleagues. She is the the leader at the principal at the Nevis International Secondary School. She's actually the founder of the Nevis International Secondary School. And I wanted to share Joy's post as it relates to this opportunity. I know that she is an exceptional individual and she will do well. She is very active in the community, very active in her school community, and I know, as I said, there is no doubt that she will do well. But I wanted to share her thoughts and on this opportunity with you, and a bit of her experience as well. So I will read it, and of course these are not my words. I'm reading from Joy Napier. She says, "I am from Nevis, the smaller island in the smallest independent nation, St. Kitts and Nevis, in the Western Hemisphere. A country tiny in size but immense in potential. When I returned home a decade ago, after completing a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science, friends and family questioned my decision. I had been offered a lucrative job at an international policy institute, which I turned down. I've never for a second regretted that decision. For the past 10 years, I have worked in Nevis as an educator, founding a secondary school and watching it grow, contributing to the education and youth policy and serving as a CARICOM youth ambassador. It is honestly with tears in my eyes and profound gratitude that I share that I have been selected for one of the most prestigious global scholarships, the Chevening Awards, funded by the United Kingdom Foreign, Commonwealth and the Development Office and partner organizations. I am joining a network of inspirational global leaders as part of the successful 2% chosen for Chevening from over 60,000 applicants worldwide. I will be pursuing my Master of Science in International Development at the University of Edinburgh. The journey has not been easy. In August 2019, 3 years ago almost to the day, I was diagnosed with a rare neuroendocrine cancer of the lungs. Airlifted from Nevis and had my right lung surgically removed. At that point, I could only focus on my next breath, never imagining that I'd be here 3 years later. Gratitude is a must. Coffee. I am immensely grateful for my parents who prioritized education over all else, who filled our house not with possessions but with books and discussions and BBC. My only regret is that my father isn't alive to share in this moment. He raised me to be unorthodox and outspoken. Above all, he taught me to value people, not possessions. A man is judged not by the color of his skin, but the content of his character. Martin Luther King Jr. Grateful to my team at the Nevis International Secondary School, NISS, to an incredible mentor and example of leadership, Honorable Hazel Brandy Williams, to the Chevening Awards, FCDO, UK and Barbados, and the Eastern Caribbean, St. Kitts and Nevis Chevening Alumni Group, and the University of Edinburgh. I am leaving Nevis with the promise to return. I will continue to advocate for education policy reform, for transparency in politics, for youth empowerment, and inclusion in decision making, for a more equitable society in which we can all thrive. And I just want to, once again, many of you might not have known about that, and she disclosed it, the fact that she battled 3 years ago and had to remove one of her lungs surgically. And so it was a journey, and we know that anything that Joy Napier puts her hands to, she will give it her best. So we commend Joy, and I wanted to make the connection between the opening of the scholarship application process and the fact that it is possible for you to be part of that 2%. I know sometimes we say, oh, I'm from a small place, so it's too big of a feat. But know that you can do it, and so you have the opportunity until November 1st. Please take advantage of it to complete the application form if you already have a bachelor's degree, and to submit it, to get the input of persons. I called a few names, and I know that all of them will. And I forgot Chanel Simmons. Chanel Simmons is also was also a Chevening scholarship, and I know each and every scholar. I know each and every one of them would deem it an honor as well to assist you. So if you need help, reach out to the ladies at Human Resources, reach out to someone who is a Chevening scholar to get some advice, some insight, and I know that you will all be able to do well. So I encourage you to apply, listeners, to any of these opportunities, the scholarship opportunities that were mentioned this morning. Some of them are smaller than others, but at the end of the day, you would be able to move on to the next level, to get to the next step, if you take this first step of applying. And so please take note of that, and I wish all of you the very best as you pursue any of these opportunities. All right, so it is officially the 27th of August. August is almost over, and as we bring the curtains down on August, we know that the next step is always back to school. There are a few announcements that I would share with you. I will start with the back to school exercises this Monday. On Monday, we will have our teachers and our instructional and non-instructional staff, our leaders, at NEPAC for the annual back to school convocation, and we will be holding the session under the theme Education for the Future: Reflect, Refocus, Recalibrate. It has been a long journey. For the last few years, we've been through in education many unexpected changes, many challenges, and I must say that our personnel at the various levels handled the challenges very well, much better than most would have, and we have learned, if nothing else, that we are resilient, that we can do many things and we can do them well. And so we know that it is time for us, as we restart, that we have our 3 R's: reflect, refocus, recalibrate. We have to reflect on the past 2 years, and even before that, we have to look to see what we could have done differently and what we did well. Then we have to refocus. We have to set our eyes on our target, and we have to refocus on the fact that at the end of the day, we have to provide our students with quality education. And then the final one, recalibrate. Recalibrate, we might have to make some adjustments, but at the end of the day, we get back on course, and it is the concept similar to a GPS. And so we want to encourage all of our teachers, our educational staff across the schools, to ensure that you are at NEPAC on Monday, and seating starts at 8:30 a.m. Registration and seating starts at 8:30 a.m. The event itself starts at 9:15, and we want to ensure that persons are seated by 9 a.m. where possible. Persons who register by 9 a.m. are eligible for a special prize. So if you get there, once you've registered, you'll be entered to be part of a special prize, and we're hoping that you would enjoy that as well. And so I hope that you are excited as we are. I know that, trust me, teachers ended up doing so much, and especially our school leaders ended up doing so much during the break. So I'm hoping that they were able to get some semblance of rest so that we can be ready and enthusiastic about meeting and reaching our students over the next few weeks. Also, we have coming up this week, we will have our various schools will make contact with you. We will have our Meet the Teacher activities happening across the system. You will hear from the school where your child is registered to set your appointment for you to be able to reach out and meet your teacher, meet your child's teachers, engage a bit with the principals and the school leaders before the official start of school. We are encouraging you parents to make sure that your children are in attendance, and that you are also in attendance, and if there are dire circumstances, then you can send a proxy, of course, but we want to make sure your child is well represented. And if you want to reach out to the teacher after the fact. If you had to send someone else, that is also well in order. So we want to encourage you to be part of this process, to be part of sharing with your school's teacher, building your school's community, and of course making sure that your children know that you support them in every element of their lives, including education. And so we thank you in advance for answering the call and for showing up to your child's school on whichever day at whatever time you're scheduled to be there this week. And so in light of that, we will have those activities occurring throughout the course of this week. Some will start on Wednesday, some will start on Thursday, and some will have theirs on Friday. And when we're finished, we will have the opportunity to complete some diagnostic assessments. And throughout that process, we will be able to share to see where our children are. And let me tell you, academic loss occurs naturally through the summer because some children do not have any engagement or interaction with any type of schoolwork for the entire summer period. And so academic learning loss occurs during those months naturally. What we want to be able to know is what your children remember from last school year or before that. All right, so when you hear of a diagnostic assessment, after the break, when I come back from the break, I'll talk to you a bit more about what a diagnostic assessment means, what it looks like, and so we can have a better understanding. We'll take a short break, though, and we'll be right back.
Sugar City St. Kitts, keep it sweet. Keep listening to Vaughn.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's you on the go. You on the go, oh, let's start the show. Oh, you on the go, oh, let's start the show. Let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. The storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, youth on the go. Let's start the show.
Let's go. Good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via Von Radio's YouTube channel and Facebook page, and welcome back to this edition of Youth on the Go here on Von Radio. I am Zahnela Claxton from the Department of Education, and we are here with you on Saturdays to share information, updates, and as much as we can to help to support our young people, our students. And this Saturday we are sharing about back to school, what it's going to look like, what opportunities are there, and of course engaging you so that you can therefore support your students and ensure their success in their academic journey, at least definitely for this academic year. We have, just before the break, I spoke to the fact that there will be a Meet the Teacher activity, and we will have some diagnostic assessments happening, and so that will take us through the course of this week. When we are through with this week, some of you may have already seen, but if you have not seen the flyer notice, we will have a staggered start to the school year for this academic year. And of course, parents might be asking, well, why? Why is there a staggered start? So let me share the logistics behind the staggered start, and then share with you the rationale, the reason why we are having a staggered start. So we have parents and guardians stakeholders, anyone connected to students, please note that all public preschools will open on Monday, 5th September 2022. That's the scheduled time that is on the calendar. So preschoolers will go in on Monday, 5th September 2022, and primary and secondary school students, public primary and secondary school students, will return on the 7th of September 2022. And that is because when we're finished with the activities this week, the Meet the Teacher and the diagnostic assessments, we will allow teachers the opportunity to prepare to do their planning. Remember, because they're doing the assessments all week, they will not have the chance to prepare and plan during this week. So they will use Monday and Tuesday to prepare their classrooms, to set out their plans based on the data from the assessment. So based on the information on the assessments, they will know what they should do to help to support your child. I know that many times in the past we have started school regularly, and we just go in and we start teaching, and sometimes it takes us a little bit some time to know where the children are coming in off from the summer, coming from the pandemic, from the summer. Where are the children? And so we are going to use that information to help the teachers to know where to start teaching, what they should start to do. And then from there they will continuously have their continuous diagnostic assessments. But know that public schools will start on preschools will start on Monday, 5th September, and public primary and secondary will start on Wednesday, 7th September. And this is also the case, I know, as well on St. Kitts. They're starting on the 7th of September because they have a series of workshops this week, and so they're allowing the teachers to have the chance to do the same, to prepare on Monday and Tuesday. Outside of that, though, I want to also note that the private schools will, of course, update parents accordingly, but Nevis Academy will also open on the 7th of September. Montessori Academy will open on the 7th of September as well, and NISS, Nevis International Secondary, will open on the 6th of September, and Maud Cross Prep will open on the 5th of September. Okay, so that's just by way of information for the private schools. They will open, some will open on the 7th, and NISS on the 5th, the 6th, and Maud Cross on the 5th. So that's just by way of information. So I also wanted to take the time out to explain to you what happens when you hear the term diagnostic assessments. Now in St. Kitts and Nevis, we use what we refer to as the balanced assessment, and that just means that a student's work is not solely, or a student's performance is not solely based on a summative or final exam. So we know that students go to school all term long, and for most part we focus on the end of term test. Their grade on the end of term test is what guides and has guided us for many years. We know that internally the teachers take note of what they have for their assessments in class, they grade, and they take note of those grades. But what you hear about for most part, parents, would be the summative or final exam, the final assessment. That's what you hear about most. Under the enhanced curriculum, we're ensuring that we capture and we take note of, and we embrace the fact that our students' performance is not based solely on one exam, but the students' performance is based on several assessments. So we have diagnostic assessments, and we have formative assessments, and we have summative assessments. Our diagnostic assessments help us to see what students know, where they are. Our formative assessments take place after we've taught and a concept, and we want to throughout the process we want to give them. So sometimes, for example, they might get, when they're finished with a topic, they might have to do some form of a few of the questions that are related to the topic to see if they understood it, or if they were able to master it. Sometimes it takes the form of a homework assignment, which is based on something that was taught already. And then after that, we also have the summative, which is what we're used to. So that's not new. Your end of term exams, your end of unit exams. So those are the 3 types of assessments that we focus on. During Meet the Teacher, and at the beginning of every year, we are shifting to allow for system-wide diagnostic assessments to occur. In the past, for the last 5 years or so, we've had some diagnostic assessments happening mostly on our formally, mostly on our infant block, so our kindergartens, our grade 1, 2, 3, in some cases 3. We've had literacy diagnostic assessments happening for the last, as I said, 5 years. More recently, we transitioned to the entire primary school and allowing the students to be engaged in diagnostic assessments. And more recent than that, we've allowed for it to take place not during the classroom instructional time, but during the back to school week. And the reason for this is that diagnostic assessments are often better done on a one-on-one basis. And what we've found is that it is difficult for a teacher to be able to effectively assess their whole class one by one while all of the other students are in the room, because they have to find something for all of those students to do. And as we can tell, these assessments can take a few days. If you're doing them consistently, they can take you up to 3 to 5 days. And so we want to make sure that we get that covered. So when the teacher is finished, the teacher would know what to do, as I said before, to support their children in the classroom. And so that is the rationale behind a diagnostic assessment. What have we uncovered based on our experiences? We've uncovered, because there is some component of lack of understanding in some instances, that we end up with teachers, or with parents, thinking that this is some form of an exam. And so you go down the punitive route. You start telling the children, oh, if you don't get all right, this will happen. Or you threaten them. That is not what a diagnostic assessment is about. It's not an exam that will give a grade. It's an assessment that helps the teacher to see what the child remembers. So if the child forgot the color red, then the teacher knows I have to reinforce or repeat or share or reteach that this color is red. If the child forgot how to call certain words or certain rules, then the teacher knows that I have to review this rule when school starts. So even if in July the child knew and seemingly mastered some of the concepts, in September, the reality is that it might show that they don't know. Does that mean that it is not being taught, or they weren't taught well, or any of that? Absolutely not. And we are not saying that at all. We are not saying that it means that they were not taught well, that they're not doing well, that they somehow are, have some challenges. That's not what we're saying. The data that we capture, and I cannot reinforce it enough, the data that the teachers capture at the start of the term simply says to the teacher, at this stage, on this day, this child will need some help in this area. This child seems to be okay in this area. So we want you parents to understand that a diagnostic assessment is simply to show us what your children know, what they don't know. Now we have, as I said, research has shown that because of the length of the summer, children tend to forget, and I've said this on air several times. Children tend to forget, especially if they were not exposed to academics during the summer. Okay, and so it will take a while to restart them. As a teacher, some days when you, in the first term, you start to wonder, well, where were these children for the last school year? Weren't they exposed to any instruction? And then you realize that as the term picks up, they start remembering. Okay, but we don't want it to be a case where they don't know, or they don't remember, or it wasn't mastered, and then they come and we teach something else, and we don't acknowledge that, or we don't realize that they don't know some of the foundational concepts to help us to move on. So the assessments will just assess some things that they should have mastered in the previous grade. We will focus on mathematics and language arts. Mathematics and language arts literacy, and at each grade we will focus on the various skills, as I said, that they should have mastered. So parents, listeners, we are not using this as a way to punish our children. As I said, we're not using this as a way to be up in arms. We know that it is natural, it is normal for learning loss to occur. We also are aware that the past 2 years have been challenging years, and so the students may have had gaps. They may have missed something. A concept may have been taught online and they did not get it. We tried our best. The teachers, as I said, went above and beyond, and they were able to do an exceptional job. So we tried our best to ensure that instruction continued, that the children were exposed, but at some points we were not able to reach mastery. So that challenge, and then the summer will allow us, the new teachers, to see where the students are. So we're not using it to point fingers. We're not using it to make our children uncomfortable about education, about school. We're not, because when we do that, when we start, punishing them and getting aggressive, it gives them a negative mindset towards school, towards education. That's not what we want. Okay, so when you're finished and there are any gaps for those of you, and we will try our best to let you know where you can support at home. While the information is for the teacher, some parents might ask, well, what can I do to help? What can I do in light of the gaps and that kind of thing? That is where we want to ensure that we get you as our partner, and for you to see that, okay, I can help at home by, for example, let me give an example, and that probably would make it clearer for you. If we notice through the assessment that your child, let's go with a kindergartner or even a grade 1 student, your child does not recognize their letters, that is an opportunity for you at home to provide support in that area. If we recognize or we notice that your child does not recognize their colors, then it is for us to provide that support to make sure that they master color recognition. And it's for you, when you're going along, you go, you get dressed in the morning, you say, what color is my shirt? What color is, and you reinforce the colors, especially if there's a specific color that the child just can't get. Sometimes children know most of their colors, but there's a color that they just can't get. And so you use that as a teaching moment. Parents are the first teachers. We're not expecting you to be classroom instructors, but you teach your children so many things every day. And so we want you to use the opportunity to get to know where your child is as well, and to get to know how you can support your child in his or her growth and development. So please, when you receive the call from the school in relation to diagnostic assessments, please ensure that we are not putting additional stress on the students as it relates to that. The teachers will do their best to share the information, to assess and to see what they can do to help your child. This entire process is focused on helping your child. So we want to thank you in advance for your understanding, for your cooperation, and we thank you for your support, and we know it's going to be an amazing year. We're going to start with this Meet the Teacher activity, and we're going to transition into an amazing year. Whatever information your school shares with you, as I said, please be cooperative, and we can't wait to help your children get further and help your children to master the skills. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know, we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around, and adventure is always waiting. The storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go.
Let's go. Good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via Vaughan Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channel, and welcome to another edition of Youth on the Go here on Vaughan Radio. I am Zahnela Claxton from the Department of Education, and we're here to share with you opportunities, updates, activities that will help to elevate or develop our students. We were just before the break sharing information as it relates to the reopening of schools, and I will do that at least 2 more times in case anyone tunes in late or anyone wants the information repeated. We are having a staggered start to the reopening of school, and so we will have for the 5th of September, all preschools will open on the 5th of September. However, due to that long explanation, I just walked us through the diagnostic assessments, the need for proper planning, preparation, and ensuring that the data that we get, that we're able to use it to support your child very early on to close out the gaps. We will have a late start, we'll start on the 7th of September for primary and secondary school students. So primary and secondary schools will start on the 7th, and preschools will start on the 1st. I want you to appreciate, parents, that teachers need time to make sure that they're adequately prepared for the students, and we did not want to have to cut their vacation period any shorter either, and so you want to make sure that we have things in place so that when your child comes, we are ready to go. We're ready to go for the students in front of us, and that we're not doing a general plan that, one size fits all, doesn't matter what needs the children have. We want to make sure that we are catering to the needs of your child. So all public preschools will open on the 5th, all preschools will open on the 5th, all public primary schools will open on the 7th, and secondary will open on the 7th. In terms of the private schools, Maud Cross Prep will open on the 5th, Nevis International Secondary will open on the 6th, Montessori Academy will open on the 7th, and Nevis Academy will open on the 7th. So just take note of that so that you have that for your information. In relation to the back to school activity, our teachers will come out this week. We know that it is practice and expectation that our teachers come out a week before. So teachers will come out on the 29th, which is Monday, and we will start with a back to school opening ceremony and convocation, and the theme is reflect, refocus, recalibrate. And we will have some presentations and sharing there with our teachers, as well as to guide them to the way forward. And we're asking teachers and school staff to be registered and seated by 9 o'clock. Registration opens at 8:30, and to ensure that you're registered and seated by 9 o'clock. And the start time for the activity is 9:15 a.m. Venue NEPAC. And of course, if you get there and you register before 9 o'clock, you're eligible for a special prize. And I know that many of you would be interested in this special prize. So please do your best to come out and be there before 9 o'clock so that you can be eligible for this special prize. And as we wind down, I think I would have to also share with you, listeners, that I encourage you parents to start getting your children on. Remember, I said a couple of weeks ago, just about 2 weeks before the start of school, that you start getting your children back on schedule so that they can be ready for back to school as well, for the return of school. We don't want the children to be tired during the first few days of school because they have been staying up too late. They have not been getting the necessary rest. We don't want them to consistently want to have to go outside to use the restroom and do all those things because they have totally been off schedule. We don't, of course, they will be allowed to use the restroom, but we don't want them to be off schedule to the point where they're disruptive and even disrupting the flow of the classroom. We want them to be able to be on a regular eating schedule. So these are the schedules that we're watching: your eating schedule, your rest schedule, making sure that they are eating at certain times of the day and not at arbitrary times of the day. Because if they eat randomly throughout the day, they will want to snack when teacher is teaching. They'll be hungry because they are accustomed to snack throughout the day. So let's get them on a pretty school type schedule. So ensure that they're out of bed ahead of 7 o'clock or latest 7 o'clock so that they can be active around the time when they should be at school. Make sure that they're allowed to have a morning snack at around 10:30, 10:15, 10:30. Then let them have their lunch somewhere between 12 and 1, closer to 12, so that they can get the time to properly digest by 1, and then that they can have their afternoon snack. It's about 2:30, and then after that they can, of course, they have their evening routine that you have put in place. Also, please ensure that they start doing some academic work, and that doesn't mean that they have to sit down, and please don't make this punishment. I find that we tend to just make everything as it relates to school punishments. So if you're not behaving, you have to go to read. You have to turn off a TV, turn off a tablet and go to read if you're not behaving. Or if for some reason you think that they need to be punished or they did something wrong, that then reading or schoolwork, go take up a textbook, that should not be. It should be a part of your routine. So set your routine this week. As I said, they get up by a certain time, they do their activities, they have breakfast, then you should read a book or you should write something or color depending on the level. Then you go to your outdoor playtime, then you come back and go through your routine for the day, so that it's not that academics in school cannot be viewed solely as some form of punishment. So we want to encourage you parents to set the routines as closely as possible so that we can have students who are ready, as I said, and raring to go. Students, as you prepare, and those of you who are listening, remember that at the end of the day you're expected to be kind, that you're expected to appreciate your colleagues and to be tolerant of your classmates. Be tolerant of your classmates. And so we want to encourage you to do that and to be part of that as well. So students, make sure that you are doing such. Before I close out, I want to alert you that the Department of Youth has the Youth Impact 12 Award, and that the current nominations are open for the Patriotism Awards, and so please stay tuned to the Department of Youth Facebook page to keep up with the various awards which are available for you. Once again, as I said before I close out, I want to share with you the dates for the reopening of schools. On September 5th, we'll have our preschools reopening on the 5th of September, and then we'll have our primary and secondary schools reopening on the 7th of September. Following that, that's for public schools. I also want to add that Maud Cross Prep will open on the 5th of September, that NISS will open on the 6th of September, and that Montessori Academy and Nevis Academy will open on the 7th of September. This information will be shared with you parents via your various schools, but I want, of course, for us to also be prepared for that as well. I wish us all a very productive day and week, and teachers, we look forward to seeing you. Our school staff, my apologies, we look forward to seeing you on Monday from 8:30 a.m. seated by 9 a.m. so that we can get started. And remember, if you're seated by 9 a.m., then you will be eligible for various awards. We want to wish all of our staff members a very productive 2022-2023 school year. We want to once again let you know how much we appreciate you. Members of the public, please, from time to time, because sometimes it becomes heavy, it becomes a lot, from time to time, please let your child's teacher know that you appreciate him or her, and let your children know that they should be respectful. That's one of the things that we are battling with within our society, children not being respectful. Make sure that your children know they should be respectful when they go to school. Model it at home and set it as your expectation for this school year. We thank you for tuning in, and until next week when we'll share some more updates with you, have a wonderful week.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. An hour passes quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's you on the go. Youth on the go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, youth on the go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around, and adventure is always waiting. With storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa.